Hey guys, how are you doing today? Glad you're here with me. I finally have all my parts for upgrading my computer, and of course I'm switching over to AMD from Intel, so this is going to be quite interesting. It's the first time I've ever done this big of an upgrade, so I'll be learning as I go along, and hopefully I don't screw up, but if I do, at least you'll learn from my mistakes. So I'm going to be upgrading to the B550 motherboard, and this is a mid-range motherboard because it doesn't have Wi-Fi. So if that's important to you, you might want something a little better than this one. For me, I don't need Wi-Fi, of course. As a lot of gamers don't really need Wi-Fi, they use the Ethernet cord. So I'm going to be using an aftermarket cooler for my CPU. This one was recommended to me locally from a local computer store. It is affordable, you know, not too expensive, which I needed, and it does the job. It's good. This, of course, is the CPU. This is the Ryzen 5 5600X. It does come with a cooler, the Wraith, but according to a lot of people, it doesn't cool the CPU enough, so it is ideal to get an aftermarket cooler if you can. If not, I mean I can't really say because I've never used it, so it might be fine. It might do the job. I don't know, but yes. So I will be piecing all this hardware together. I also got the RAM, of course. So I did order 32 gigabytes, but for my situation, I really don't need that much. I don't know what I was thinking. They were just kind of fancy looking, like RGB, and I'm not really into the real fancy, colorful things, but I thought a little bit of light would be cool. But these ones are the Corsair Vengeance, of course, and they're bulletproof and, you know, highly used and popular. So DDR4, I'm just probably gonna stick with these and end up selling the other ones that are coming in the mail. I don't know, or I might keep them. I might end up switching them out. I don't know yet. But anyways, for now, yeah, I got two 8 gigabyte chips of the Vengeance. So if you have any comments or questions along the way, don't hesitate to leave them below. Of course, I'll be linking all these products, this hardware below. Also, make sure that you have your Windows key in case you have to reactivate your Windows after you're done. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It depends on how much hardware is being replaced. But you want to make sure you extract that key. So I'll show you how to do that for free if you don't have that. And on that note, we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is unbox the motherboard. And it comes with this quick installation guide that might be a little not as in-depth, or doesn't show quite as much information as you might need, but that's okay. We're not going to be following that. A couple of SATA cords, a DVD for the installation, the drivers, a sticker. That's that. So I'm just going to place, actually I'm going to take this out, take the motherboard out and put it on top of the case for it. Go. Alright, so there it is. So before I put this in my case, I'm going to be putting the CPU in and the aftermarket cooler, of course. So this is the Ryzen 5 5600X. I got this on for half price, and it's good enough for this build for myself. And the aftermarket cooler, this was recommended by a local computer store, and it's affordable. I didn't need anything fancier than. It's got some RGB lights, which is cool. This board supports RGB lights. So for the wires that I had to reroute, was for my fan. So originally on my older motherboard, my fan connections were down here on the bottom. So I had to reroute those wires for about the top of the board here. And then also for my audio connection. My audio connection on my old board was around here somewhere. And now it's way over here. So I've had to reroute those wires as well as my other fan wire. There's a connection right here. On my old board, the fan connection was up here by the CPU connections. So as you see, we have, this is a pretty large heatsink for the front panel. This is a built-in panel. You don't need, it doesn't come with a separate plate, which is nice, easier to install. And this is the Lightning Gen M2 as a card slot. This is a little heatsink on here. I'm not going to be putting one of those in today, but later on if I want to upgrade to them, I will. This is really good, a good thing. What else can I tell you? This is obviously the main port for your GPU, and of course all your RAM slots. And so I'll be taking these out for my cooler. And the first thing, like I said, I'm going to do is put the CPU in. So you're going to need of course, a screwdriver. So another thing about this motherboard, if I turn this around here, your panel has, the only thing about this board is that it lacks USB ports, which on my old board I had about 3 or 4 more, but anyways, you have, I think, how many do you have? 1, 2, 3, I think you have about 5 ports. So you have your faster ones and just a couple regular ones. Of course, you have your antique connection here for your keyboard. I can't remember what they call that, but yeah, older connection. And you got your HDMI and your display port here for your monitors. And yeah, everything else is pretty much straightforward there. Okay. So I'm going to be opening up this package now, the CPU. And so the CPU comes with a CPU cooler. It's called the Wraith. And apparently, according to some people, it doesn't really cool your CPU as much as you'd like, apparently. So to be on the safe side, I got the aftermarket. But yeah, this is the Wraith. I can't say how it works, you know, for sure, because I've never used one before. But I can open it. There it is there. But yeah, I'm not going to be using that one, of course, so that one aside. And here is the beautiful CPU. So be careful when you're taking this out or installing it, not to touch the back side, because you don't want to damage any of those little posts there. So to install it, you're going to want to find the little corner. First of all, you want to lift this up. So yeah, make sure your triangles are lined up and just kind of plop it in. It should just fall right in, but if it's not, there's more of a, what's a better, yeah, so this little triangle here needs to line up with, you just want to place that in there like that, marking, lining up the little triangle with the little triangle here. In this case, it's not a triangle, it's a little white half circle for some reason. There we go. Make sure it falls in like that. Just place it there gently, and you can give it just a tiny little bit of wiggle, and if it doesn't wiggle, then you know that it's put in properly. Then you just want to clip this back down in there where it was. And so your CPU is installed. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is install the CPU cooler. So this is the AG400BK cooler, and it should come with thermal paste already on it. If you want to use your own thermal paste, then you're going to have to just you know, clean that off and use your own. In this case, I think I'm just going to use the thermal paste that's already on the cooler. I'm not going to reapply it. So here are the brackets. We're going to need this one for the AMD motherboard, and we're going to need this package here. So you got these orange posts and the coarser screws to install. So I'll just set this aside. Okay, so let's take the cooler out. See what this baby looks like. There it is there. Okay, so yeah, here. So remove before installation. So this will have the thermal paste installed on it already, applied on it already. So this is the connection for the CPU fan, and I believe, and this would be for the RGB lights. So that's one thing. I'm not 100% sure where this connection goes on this board, but I'll find it. Anyway, so but before we install this, we have to take off the fan. So there's two little clips on each side, here and here. So you just want to pull them up, pull them, actually, I think you just, yeah, pull them back and it'll just clip off this way. Oop, there we go. So there we go. The first thing we want to do is put these little orange posts in. And they go over top of these. They should fit. If it doesn't fit one way, put it the other on the other side. Like so. Okay, and now for this one, you want to make sure it's on the side where these little posts, screw posts, are pointing up on either side here. So you want to line these the indents up here for the screws. Like that. And start screwing these in. Now you can just tighten up the screws a little bit more until there's no more, until it just stops turning. And that should be fine. There we go, nice and secure. Okay, now for the CPU cooler. So of course you want to line up these posts with these posts sticking out here. There's a pattern on the back side, and you can add another fan on here if you want. But you want to place this checkered pattern here. You want it facing this way, away from your RAM, and then the fan goes on this side, which is where your RAM chips are. And this style in particular is made to give enough room for them RAM chips, which is really nice. So they're really good at keeping that in mind for space and having room for that. So we'll go ahead and peel this off and see. Oh, okay, so this one does not have the thermal paste pre-applied, so that's okay. I thought it did. We can apply our own, which isn't a big deal. I have some right here. So the trick is with thermal paste is don't add too much and don't add too little. It would be a good idea to have a tiny little plastic spatula so you could spread it out, but it's not totally necessary. Okay, so what you want to do is there's different ways to apply this. You can put a little blob here, like a pea-sized blob, or you can do a little X. So I'm going to do the X. Just like that. And that should be good. Okay, so now we want to get this cooler in. Like I said, they're both checkered patterned, so I guess that's not a really good example. But you'll see the one that has more room on this side on the bottom will go toward your RAM chip slots. So you first want to just line up, if you could get over on this side, you want to line up this post first and then set it down on the other side. Should be good, like so. Hopefully that's lined up there. So when you're first screwing these in, you want to turn it counterclockwise until you hear a click. So turn it left. There, hear that click? And then you can start turning it the right way to tighten it up. So about 3 or 4 turns on each side. So now we're going to do the same here. So we're going to turn it to the left until you hear a click. Oops. Make sure it's lined up properly. There. There. I don't know if you heard that. There's a little click. There you go. So that makes it so that it's secure on there, and then start turning it the other way. So 3 or 4 turns on each side, back and forth. And you can't over tighten these screws. So once they stop turning, it's tight enough. So just making sure that the pressure is balanced on both sides. Going back and forth. And it's getting tighter. So like I said, as soon as it stops and you can't turn anymore, that's tight enough. There, you can't turn that anymore. Try this side. Oh, it stopped. So there we go. That's in. Now we want to install the fan. So keeping in mind where your wires are on the top here. So we want to just kind of do the same thing as when we took it off. Make sure the top is flush, like level here on the top, and just pull these little clips back and place them in the little indents on the side. And you can push this up a little bit if you need to make sure it's level there. So these 2 wires, like I said, these are the RGB wires, and I'm not sure exactly where those go yet, but this is the CP, the fan. The fan connection, which goes up here where it says CPU fan. So let's plug that in. There we go. Get that plugged in. I'll figure out the RGB connections later. So like I said, you can put another fan on the back if you want, and there is clips, extra clips. You should have extra clips for that. I can't see them here, so never mind. Okay, so that's it. The CPU cooler is in. We got the CPU in, of course, and now for the RAM chips. I'm just gonna tuck these over a little bit here. So I have the Corsair Vengeance chips, and these are DDR4, of course, 16 gigabytes. So I'm gonna be getting some more chips in the mail soon and be upgrading to 32 gigabytes, but for now, these are good enough. So making sure you're putting them in the right way. Here's your RAM slots right here. So you just want to push your little fasteners down. I don't think this side comes down, no. Okay, making sure you're putting them in the right way. They should just fit, push down on either side. Until it clicks. So you might have to push down a bit hard. That's normal. So they go this way. All right. So the next one, I'm going to put it a slot over. And the first one. My issue is I don't have a lot of light on this side, but that's okay. Okay, so just line it up and push it in until you hear that click, and then, yeah, the RAM sticks are installed. So, some people like to install their cooler before they put it in their case, and some people wait until the motherboard is in before installing the CPU cooler, but I feel like it's easier to do it while it's outside of the case. It's just easier to get at the screws and all that you need. So now it's ready to go into the case, and then we'll start plugging everything in.
Okay.
So I think I figured out where the RGB lights go for this fan, and which is on the opposite side of the board here. So it's got this connection here where there's two, and then a space, and then another one. So the only one I could find is this rainbow connection here, and out of all the connections on the board, it's the only one that has that particular connection. So I'm pretty sure that's where that one goes on this board anyways, called the rainbow connection. I don't know, I didn't even look it up, but we will see. To put the motherboard in, so in a way it is nice to have the cooler attached first, because you can kind of use it. So make sure all your wires are out of the way, and I'm just gonna hold on to the cooler a little bit here to drop it down. So we got some wires wanting to go underneath here. Just pull everything away. You want to line it up with the panel here on the outside. I have to move this light. See, I'm way above here, so I have to bring it down and line it up, and then it should line up fairly well with your screw posts there. So it is lined up. Next thing we need are our little screws to go in, and the little short ones here, and these are off my old motherboard. So I guess these are the ones I'll be using. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is it? 6 over here, and then up in the corner here 7, 8, 9. So hopefully I got enough screws for this. We'll just start screwing them in. Okay, so I want to plug the front panel in. Now this is going to be different for you, different motherboards. So this is going in the JFP1 connection. So we got the HDD LED that goes right on the end here. And then we got the reset switch, which goes right beside it on the bottom. It's a little tight to get in. There we go. You got one here, that's the reserved pin. So then we've got 2 more. So we have, actually these go together, but these should be the power LED light. So that goes right above the other LED light on the same connection. One there, the very end. Get them in. I think they're in there. And then the last one for the front panel here is the power switch itself. I don't know if you can see that. It says, it should have it marked. And then that one goes right above the reset switch connection. There, if you can see, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. Actually, if I take this out, it might be better. So we want that one to go in there, like so. So that's where all those little ones go. Then we have this USB connection. Obviously this is marked USB 1, USB 2. So this one, you'll see there's 4 pins on the bottom and 5 on the top. It's the same as your USB connection. So I might have to pull these, just pull this one out just a little bit more so it'll reach. Whoops, and we'll put that one in there, like so. Okay, so I've got the front panel connected, the USB connected. I believe that's for the front panel as well. Okay, so now we got all the STRATA cords for the drives to connect. So my last motherboard, they were kind of 6 in a row, flat out, but these ones are stacked on each other. So as long as you can get them in, I don't think it really matters which one goes in where. But it is kind of hard to see the connections themselves. These ones are a little trickier to get in. Looks like there's one. So I've got 5 hooked in. I think that's all of them except for this one here. This is the SSD. And I'm not sure where this one goes. To be honest. Oh, it looks like it goes in this one down here. I guess this one plugs in here. Okay, what else do we got here? Oh yeah, this is the audio, so I had to reroute this one. So this one plugs in on the bottom of the board down here. And so if we look at the, well, it goes way over in the corner here. So you want the top space to match up with the pin, which is on the top as well, the space there with the pin. And of course it says audio, or AUD, it's marked. So let's try to line those pins up and push it in. That should be good. Okay, so I guess the last connections here will be this big huge one. This is the PSU. Just make sure that you're connecting it in the right way. It should have a little clipped on. That should be good there. Now, these fan ones I had to reroute up here. There should be 2 of them. Where's the other one? I'm probably going to tie this back somehow after. Better cable management. So this one, these are the fan connections over here. So we have 3 slots here. Let me see. And so you want to line up this little bracket on the side with the clip on the motherboard. And so this is for my 2 fans on the front of the case. If I can get that one in. There we go. Those are in. Got the CPU fan plugged in. Now the front or the back of the case fan, that goes down here by the M2 slot, right above the M2 slot. Again, line the little bracket thing on the back with the one on the motherboard, because it's 3 pins, but there's actually 4 pins, so you want to put it on the end. Which I'm having a bit of a hard time. There we go. I got it in, yay. Just tuck this back, like so. Okay, so what are we missing? Oh yeah, the rainbow, the RGB. Oh, and the CPU connection. So I'll just plug this in first. This was for the fan lights. So rainbow connection should go right there. There we go. Okay. So the last connection, yeah. I don't think that is good. No. Okay, the last connection is the CPU up on this corner. So yeah, up here you want to plug your CPU in to the power supply. Ugh. One went in, okay. The other one doesn't want to. I'm kind of doing this blindly because I can't really see. Actually, if I move this light over. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. One goes in, and there we go. Both of them are in. Okay, there's the CPU connections. Connected in. Okay, everything's connected except for the GPU. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. So these are the GPU connectors. Okay, so now I'm gonna connect my GPU. And so I do have the GeForce 1070. I'll be upgrading to an RTX when I can. So the main slot is right here for the GPU, so you just want to line that up, of course, with it. Ah, there we go. Oh my goodness, I didn't have to take that other cover off, actually. I just wasn't lining it up right. That's okay. So to make sure it is clicked in all the way, this little thing up here needs to be up. It's a little clip down here, and it looks like it is, so that's it for that. And then we want to just put these, secure the GPU in, which I can't really see right here. Didn't need to take that out. Probably gonna need some different screws to screw the GPU and the panel properly. For now, we'll just put these connections in. Okay, so that's plugged in. All right, everything is installed and plugged in, and so I guess the next test will be to turn it on and see what happens. Okay, so I powered up the PC and everything is working great. Nothing blew up, so that's good. I did have my RAM chips installed in the wrong slots, but the PC let me know that I needed to change them over. So for this particular board, if you're installing 2 RAM chips instead of 4, the 2 need to be in the 2nd and the 4th slots there, apparently. So hopefully you'll read the manual before you install them. Something I didn't do. Anyway, so that's it for now. In my next video, I'll be showing you more about this motherboard, in particular the BIOS, and how you can enable the profiles for the chips, the XMP profiles, which I did have to do for them to run at their full capacity. And also, I'll be talking about how you can reactivate your Windows, and there's a few different ways. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but I will leave links below the video to help you along the way for whatever situation you're in. For myself, I'm going to have to reinstall Windows on this new board and reactivate it, obviously with a new Windows key. So I will be doing that. I'm not going to be recording that procedure at all. That's going to be painful, but so I will be having to reinstall my Sims games, obviously Sims 3, and I will be doing videos on that in the near future. So until next time, hope it all works out for you, and I hope this video helped you out. Have a good one.